dear children. Let us continue the lesson reproduction in plants. Okay, reproduction in plants. Last class we have discussed about fertilization. Isn't it? You know what is fertilization? The fusion of male gamete with the egg or the female gamete. That is actually called fertilization. Okay, and the fertilized egg is called the zygote. The fertilized egg is called the zygote. Listen it. Next we are going to discuss about seed. Okay, about seed. Actually, the fertilized egg begin to divide inside the ovule. Listen it. Now the fertilized egg is inside the ovule. That begins to divide. Okay, and develops into a embryo. Listen it. In the ovule, actually, fertilized egg is there. It turns to divide or begins to divide, and it develops into an embryo. Okay, the fertilized egg starts to divide inside the ovule and it develops into embryo. Isn't it? And the ovule that develops into seed. The ovule that develops into a seed. Okay, the ovule that develops into a seed. And besides the embryo, the seed also has what? One or two cotyledons. Okay, one or two cotyledons. Besides the embryo, the seed also has one or two cotyledons. Listen to it. Actually, cotyledons are the part inside the seed. Actually, it looks like a small leaf. Okay. The cotyledons are the part inside the seed. Actually, it looks like small leaf. Listen it. And beside embryo, the seed also has one or two cotyledons. Okay, the outer coating of seed is actually called the seed coat. Listen it. What is meant by seed coat? The outer covering of a seed, that is called the seed coat. Listen it. And also the embryo has a radicle and a plumule. Okay, the embryo has a radicle and a plumule. Actually, it is attached to one or two cotyledons. Okay. Actually, it is attached to one or two cotyledons. The embryo has a radicle and plumule. Actually, it is attached to one or two cotyledons. Listen to it. And upon germination, the radicle that develops into the root system. The radicle actually that develops into the root system. On germination, the radicle that develops into the root system and the plumule develops into the shoot system. Okay, the plumule that develops into the shoot system. And the cotyledons have a store of food which is used by the seedling. Okay, the cotyledons have a store of food which is used by the seedling. Okay, that is actually about seed. You know, the fertilized egg inside the ovule that begins to divide and develops into an embryo. Isn't it? And the ovule that develops into seed. And beside the embryo, the seed also has one or two cotyledons. Actually, the cotyledons are the part inside the seed which looks like a small leaf. Okay. And the outer covering of seed is called a seed coat. The embryo also has a radicle and a plumule. Radicle and a plumule. Okay, it is attached to one or two cotyledons. The radicle that develops into the root system and the plumule that develops into the shoot system. And the cotyledons have a store of food which is used by the seedling. Okay, that is about seed. Next about fruit. Okay, you know, in most plants, actually the fruit begin to form only after the egg cells have fertilized. Listen to it. In most plants, the fruits begin to form. Actually, when the fruits begins to form only after the egg cells have fertilized. Okay, after that only actually in most of the plants, the fruits begin to form. Listen to it. Then after fertilization, the ovary begins to grow in size. Okay, after fertilization, actually the ovary begins to grow in size. Then the outer wall of the ovary becomes very thick and form the fruit. Listen to it. The outer wall of the ovary becomes very thick and it forms the fruit. Okay, then the petals and the stamen dry and fall off. Listen to it. In most plants, the fruits begin to form only after the egg cells have fertilized. Then after fertilization, the ovary begin to grow in size. Then the outer wall of the ovary becomes very thick and forms the fruit. Okay, then the petals and stamens dry and fall off. Isn't it? Next, once this the seeds inside the ovary have fully developed, what will happen? The fruit ripens. Okay, the seeds inside the ovary have fully developed. That time the fruits ripens. Then the fully formed seed has an embryo. That means a baby plant. Okay, the fully formed seed has an embryo. That is the baby plant. Then the seed loses most of water as it dries, okay, and becomes hard and strong. Listen to it. The seed loses most of the water as it dries. As it dries, what happens? It loses water. Then it becomes hard and strong. Okay, then it becomes hard and strong. Then the hard seed that protects the embryo. Okay, actually when it becomes hard, actually it acts as a protection for the embryo. Listen it. Then most of the seeds germinate only if they have dried. Okay, most of the seeds germinate only if they have dried. Listen it. Actually, once the seeds inside the ovary have fully developed, that time the fruit ripens. Okay. Listen it. When the seed inside the ovary have fully developed, then only the fruits ripens. And the fully formed seed has an embryo. The fully formed seed has an embryo or a baby plant. Okay. Then the seed loses most of water as it dries. Okay, and becomes hard and strong. Actually, it acts as a protection for the embryo. And most of the seeds germinate only if they have dried. Okay, that is about fruit. Next, about seed germination. Okay, how does the germination of seed that is happening? Okay, seed germination. You know, when a fully formed dry seeds get favorable conditions, they germinate. Okay, when a fully formed dry seeds get favorable conditions, they germinate. Listen it. You know, some of the seeds have very thin seed coat and some other seeds has a thick seed coat. Okay, and those seeds which have a very thin seed coat, they germinate within 2 to 3 days. And the seeds which have a very thick seed coat, that takes many days to germinate. Listen it. When a seed germinates, actually a new plant is formed. Listen it. When a fully formed dry seeds get favorable conditions, they germinate. Okay, and the seeds which have a very thin seed coat, they germinate in 2 to 3 days. And the seeds which have a very thick seed coat, that takes many days to germinate. Okay, when a seed germinates, a new plant is formed. That is about what? Seed germination. Next, about seed dispersal. Seed dispersal. You know, most of the plants do not germinate while inside the fruit. Listen it. Most of the seeds do not germinate when they are inside the fruit. Okay, to germinate, the seeds need to be separated from the fruit. Okay, when the seed, when it is separated from the fruit, it starts to, then only it can germinate. Listen it. It is also essential that the seeds are spread out to faraway places. The seeds are to be spread out faraway places from the mother plant, so that the new plants have enough space, nutrients, water and sunlight. Listen to it. And the spreading of seeds from the mother plant is known as seed dispersal. Okay, what is meant by seed dispersal? The spreading of seed from the mother plant. Listen to it. The spreading of seeds from the mother plant is known as seed dispersal. Okay, the spreading of seeds from the mother plant is known as seed dispersal. Listen to it. Here, the most of the seeds do not germinate while it is inside the fruit. To germinate, the seeds need to be separated from the fruit. Okay, it is also essential that the seeds are spread out to faraway places from the mother plant, so that the new plants have enough space, nutrients, water and sunlight. And the spreading away of seeds from the mother plant is known as seed dispersal. What is meant by seed dispersal? The spreading away of seeds from the mother plant is known as seed dispersal. The seed dispersal takes place in different ways. The first is dispersal by animals, then seed dispersal by water, then by wind and by explosions. Okay, seed dispersal takes place in different ways. First is seed dispersal by animals, then by water, and then by seed, and then by explosion. Okay, let's see one by one. First is seed dispersal by animals. Okay, seed dispersal by animals. How the animals can disperse the seeds? Listen it. You know, many plants have seeds with spines and hooks. Okay, many plants have seeds with spines and hooks. Listen it. And such seeds stick to the feather of birds and hairs of animals and are dispersed faraway places. Listen it. And many plants have seeds with spines and hooks. And such seeds stick to the feathers of birds and also hairs of animals and are dispersed to faraway places when the animals or birds that moves from one place to another. Listen it. Besides animals, human beings also help in seed dispersal. Listen it. Their fruits to faraway places. They take fruits to faraway places and eat them, and they actually take fruits to faraway places and eat them and drop the seeds. Okay, and drop the seeds. And sometime the fruit gets swallowed. Okay, listen it. Sometimes the fruit get swallowed. Okay, and undigested seed is thrown out. The undigested seed is thrown out. Suppose if the seeds get sufficient water and soil, it gets germinate. In this way, the animals play an important role in the seed dispersal. Listen it. And many, the many plants have seeds with spines and hooks. And such seeds stick to the feathers of birds and also the hairs of animals. Listen it. And are dispersed to faraway places. And besides animals, the human being also help in seed dispersal. Let's see, they take fruits to faraway places and eat them and they drop seeds. And also some of the fruit by accidentally the some of the fruits get swallowed and the undigested seed that is actually thrown out. Suppose if they get sufficient water and soil, the fruit get germinate. Okay, that is the seed dispersal by animals. Next, about the seed dispersal by water. Okay, how the water help for the seed dispersal. Okay, the seeds of plants that grow in or near water are carried by water to different places. Listen to it. Seeds of plants that grow in water or near water are carried by water to different places. For example, when we consider coconut seeds, okay, that is actually covered with a fibrous outer covering. It has coconut seed has a fibrous outer covering. Okay, this keeps the whole fruit light. Okay, thus helping it to float on water. Being light, it can float on water. Okay, and on reaching the ground, the seed inside them actually germinate. Listen it. This is the seed dispersal by water. Listen it. The seeds of plants that grow in or near water are carried by water to different places. Okay, coconut seeds are covered with a fibrous outer covering. That thing you know. This keeps the whole fruit light and helping it to float on water. So it can move on water. Okay, on reaching the ground, the seeds inside them germinate. Listen it. On reaching the ground, the seeds inside them germinate. Okay, that is the seed dispersal by water. Next about seed dispersal by wind. Seed dispersal by wind. You know, some seeds have special structures that develop them to actually that help them to travel away from the mother plant. Some seeds have special structures that help them to travel away from the plant. Okay, seeds such as that of milkweed, actually they are extremely light. So light with hairs. They are also having hairs. Okay, so they can they are blown away by wind to faraway places. Okay, some seeds have special structures. They'll help to travel away from the mother plant to faraway places. Seeds such as that of milkweed are extremely light and have hairs. Okay, they are blown away by wind to faraway places. Also, the seeds of sycamore and Indian elm. Okay, seeds of sycamore and Indian elm have wings actually. They have wings that help them to be dispersed by wind. Okay, actually you can see the pictures of these plants in your textbook. Listen it. Okay, in this way actually dispersion by wind takes place. Okay, some seeds have special structures that help them to travel away from the mother plant. Okay, that means what are actually the special structures? That is, for example, when we consider the plant milkweed, they have they are very light. The seeds are very light and have hairs. Okay, or they are blown away by wind to faraway places. And also when we consider the seeds of sycamore and Indian elm, they have wings. Okay, they have wings that help them to be dispersed by wind. Listen it. That is about the seed dispersal by wind. Next about the seed dispersion by explosion. Seed dispersion by explosion. You know, the some plants such as lady's finger, you know, the dried fruit explodes. Then the seeds get spreads away from the mother plant. Listen it. Seed dispersal by explosion. You know, some plants such as lady's finger, the dried fruits explodes. Dried fruits explodes, spreading the seeds away from the mother plant. Okay, the plants such as lady's finger, the dried fruits explodes, spreading the seeds away from the mother plant. That is the seed dispersal by explosion. Okay children, today's class we have learned about seed, then fruit, and also we have learned seed germination. And also seed dispersal and dispersal of seed by animals, then wind, then water, and explosion. Okay. Okay children, that is the end of today's class, and also we have finished the lesson. Thank you all.